Hey man, it's been a while. Welcome back to the Back in Time podcast. I am your host Kyle Autry, along with my co-host JD. JD, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, seems like it's been a hot minute since we've jumped on here and gotten to hash out some quality content. So you're looking great, I will
I
say. I mean,
appreciate it.
update the audience a little bit about why we've been backed up, as it were.
Yeah, really backed up. I had a surgery on the 15th, and I've just been in recovery since then. And yeah, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster there, but doing better, feeling better, and back at it.
Yeah, and if you want to hear more about all that Kyle's gone through, I'm going to plug Chafing the Dream for you.
There we go.
I'm sure that there'll be information and stories to be told from that. So
Yeah, lots. There's a lot to talk about, and there's going to be a lot of cool episodes this week where we really dive into that. So, yeah, check that out over at Chafing the Dream podcast, and you can find all the links and everything if you just find us on the social media at Chafing the Pod. But JD, man, I'm looking forward to diving into some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, and starting to jump into the trailer here. But before we do, I do want to thank everybody for hitting that download button on today's podcast. You can subscribe for free on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, and if you're listening on YouTube, you can subscribe right down in the corner. Wait, this one? Yeah, that one. Give them a little boop.
boop.
Okay, yeah, hit that subscribe button and follow us. Lots of great content. We've got some cool stuff coming next month. Episode 2 of our new series, YouTube exclusive, Why Did This Flop? And we're going to be getting into the Explorers. So a lot to talk about there. But JD, there's a lot to talk about with this one. So, man, what's your first memory of watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze?
Oh man, this had to have been a video rental. I didn't see it in theaters. I know that much. It had to have been a rental that we watched with the Liggets.
Oh, the Liggets. We have to get a Liggett on here at some point. Yeah.
Haven't talked to them in like 20 years, but no big deal.
Reach out on Facebook. We can make it happen.
Well, they're probably listeners anyway, so.
I think that's interesting. So you're thinking VHS rental. So I'm assuming you like the original. You were excited about the follow-up.
Oh, absolutely. I love Ninja Turtles. Love the cartoon. Love the toys and the action figures, the arcade game, the video games. Everything that was Ninja Turtles was a big part of my childhood. Except for I didn't read the comic books.
Okay. Yeah, I never got into the comics either. But yeah, I love the cartoon show. I mean, if you remember our Shooting the Manure episode, I have every season on DVD. I've got the turtle truck, all that good stuff. So yeah, that's one thing that I kind of a little bit bummed about because of the surgery. We're not going to really have time to go dive into those first two of the TV show and get into that. But we can definitely do that another month.
I totally think we should. I mean, we haven't done a TV episode in a while. So in our archives, you can join us for Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, first episode and last episode.
Yep.
And Home Improvement?
Yeah, Home Improvement, the first one and the last one, I believe. and lots of that on the show. Now, one thing I will say, just as far as like first memories go, I definitely remember watching this movie in theaters. I remember being really excited about it. We had, watched the original, and at that point, 6 years old, like I was literally running around the neighborhood like I was Michelangelo. Like that's how we played. Like, let's go be Ninja Turtles, and all my friends would, run, and we'd pick a character, and we had the birthday cake was Ninja Turtles, the Christmas presents were Ninja Turtles. I remember crying because my mom didn't get me a Bebop, which I did. I later got when I was in my 20s, which was kind of a cool gift. But it's on VHS. It's my parents recorded it. It was Christmas Day, and they had to stop the tape so my mom could go whoop my ass because I was being a brat about not getting Bebop.
You got bebopped and rock steadied up in the booty.
Yeah, I did. And that's called being a kid of the 90s. That's the kind of stuff that happened. You smarted off, you got your butt whooped.
Yes, you did.
So,
Got one across the jaw with the ring hand.
nice. So let's do this. I want to jump into the trailer. And because of YouTube's weird rules and stuff, we will have to pause like every 20 seconds and talk about it. But let's kind of break this thing down, 20 seconds at a time here.
Bang, bang.
Here we go.
New York is a mess. Bad guys are giving the city a bad time. But just when it looked like no one could stop them, look who's back.
Yeehaw! Awesome!
Okay, so let's pause right there. Now, JD, if we're remembering from the first movie, it's not very corny. That's a very dark movie. It's gritty. I feel like the tone and everything already 20 seconds in is completely different with the sequel here.
Yeah, it definitely seems like we're going to see a different side of the Turtles. And I personally am excited about it. I've got no qualms. Bring it.
Yeah, and we'll definitely get into it. But also, I like the setup of Kino as well right away, too. So we know there's a new character, which is cool.
Oh, you dudes want to play too? Around the world! Woo! Ninja Cowboy!
Any luck finding a new place to live yet?
You think even an idiot can find a place down here?
But no!
You know, in this market, it's actually very difficult to find good subterranean housing.
Shredder!
There is only one thing next. Revenge.
At this point, how excited are you about seeing the return of Shredder?
I'm super excited. I'm super stoked. I love all the little inside jokes and comments that are going on, the characterization of the Turtles, and like you said, now we've got Shredder. And you look at Splinter right now; he's not happy. I'm happy. Splinter's not happy.
Splinter's not happy, and I don't feel like they're giving too much away yet. I mean, at this point, really all we've seen is kind of the opening scene to the movie, which is them down in that little like basement mall area, and then we get Shredder. So it's like, okay, cool. So they're obviously going to beat up some Foot Clan, and Shredder's back, and he looks like he is pissed off.
No, so angry.
Past returns, my son.
That's the canister that had the ooze.
That transformed us all.
He's got the canister. Get it!
Time to find out exactly what this ooze can do.
Ooh, the tease with the paw.
You take the ugly one!
No, you take the ugly one!
Which one's the ugly one?
Get down!
Okay, Vanilla Ice.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go. I'm glad that they dropped that in the trailer because that's a very memorable and exciting part of this movie.
Fantastic. And I love that they don't give anything away with Toka and Razor. We just see like the paw come out of the cage and like scratch along. It's like, okay, is that Bebop? Is that Rocksteady? Like, what is that?
We don't know.
We don't know. Let's see how they close it up here.
Hey, Mikey, surge up, dude. Hit it, Mikey. Rock and roll!
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go! Go Ninja, go Ninja, go!
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. The Secrets of the Ooze.
Okay, there we go. So I guess right off the bat here, man, watching the trailer all the way through, what's your takeaway? How are we feeling about the movie?
Yeah, I'm super effing excited. Like, I'm in love with that trailer. It didn't give too much away, but it brought all the energy. Man. But I almost feel like it was such a good trailer that you probably don't need to watch the movie because it probably captured a lot of that excitement and energy. But
Gave away a little too much, maybe, huh?
I don't know. Like, I'm in love with it. I mean, what about you? What do you think, Kyle?
Or as they say in the movie, maybe a little too Raph. Jeez.
Ooh.
Teaser. Hit me with the Scott Hall. I like it. No, I thought the trailer was pretty good for the most part. I mean, like we talked about at the beginning, it is a different tone to this movie. It definitely looks different. It feels different. But more than anything, I'm remembering 6-year-old me just being like, "This is going to be amazing, and it's going to be a fun time because they're kicking butt. Shredder's back, and yeah. Do I wish there were more characters from the TV show? Yeah." And we'll talk about that in the full episode, but nothing in this that would deter me away. And the voiceover guy is fantastic.
He's just
couldn't be any better.
Spot on. He's an amazing. We need to learn his name.
Yeah, I know there's a whole thing dedicated to him on trailers. We'll definitely get into that.
We should
at some point.
I agree. We should give like a tribute episode to all of the hard work and memories that this one human has created.
All done with his voice from a studio. I love it. Okay, man, let's dive into some box office numbers here. So the movie debuted March 22nd, 1991. It dropped in 2,868 cinemas, and it had a runtime of 1 hour, 28 minutes on a $25 million budget. Again, it's a New Line Cinema film. JD, week one, Ninja Turtles, Secret of the Ooze, #1 movie in America, bringing in over $20 million in the first week. It would repeat as #1 in week 2, bringing in another $13 million over the weekend, bringing their 10-day total to $39.8 million. What do you think about the first 10 days here?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, this was a big deal. I don't know why I didn't see it in theaters when I was a youngster. I blame my mother. Sorry, Mom.
So do I. No, I think the obvious next question is, do we think there's any schoolyard effect in play here?
Boom. I do. Who?
Okay. So next, third week, #1 movie in America. Fourth week, #2. Fifth week, #3. And then the sixth week, #7. And then the last weekend in theaters, they were #10. So they actually spent all 7 weeks inside the top 10, which is pretty darn impressive there. So on their way to a $78,656,813 domestic total. No international numbers, but I mean, overall, a very, very solid showing by TMNT 2. So what do you think about the final box office numbers there? More than you thought? Less than you thought?
Well, it's probably about what I would think that it would be. I'm curious, and you probably haven't done digging into this, to how it is comparable to the reboots of the Turtle movies that came out, which were not, from my understanding, well received.
Not too well received. I can definitely get you that answer there. What I did have pulled up though was the original. So we talked about this, on our first episode of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but the original did over $200 million, and that was just, not even 12. Yeah, let's see. This one came out in May. No, this one came in March. So exactly 12 months later, they only brought in $78 million.
Oh.
And the domestic total was almost half. So they had some international numbers with the original, but this one, 78 compared to 135 the first go around. So what do you think was the cause behind losing half their audience?
I mean, that's a really good question. I feel like maybe there was some sort of critic shift in the reception of the movie, and maybe it wasn't as well received as the first one.
Okay.
And maybe there was a little bit of burnout for parents. Oh, little Johnny, I just took your asshole self to see a Turtles movie. I don't want to take you again. That's how I imagine how parents talk.
Now, this is going to shock you a little bit. The reboot in 2014, $485 million worldwide total, almost $200 million domestically. And then the sequel to that did $245, and it lost half of its audience as well. So it looks like they have a pattern here of putting out a movie and then losing half the audience. Which, by the way, the follow up to the reboot is head and shoulders better than the first movie, and they still lost half the audience.
Yeah, well, I've never seen either, so
yeah, I actually don't think you would hate the second one. I think you'd be like, this is actually not terrible. It's got a lot of cool things from the TV show that we grew up on.
That's high praise.
Yeah, and I watched it several times because my son was just crazy about it. So, but let's take a look at the top 10 movies of the week. So let's. I'm actually going to pull this up so you can see it as well. So March 22nd, 1991, here's what was playing in theaters. We had, obviously, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is number 1. Number 2 was Silence of the Lambs. Hello, Clarice. Number 3, New Jack City. Number 4, Class Action. Number 5 was Sleeping with the Enemy. Number 6 was Dances with Wolves in week 20. Good Lord. Number 7, The Hard Way. Number 8 in week 19, Home Alone. That was a massive movie in our archives. Number 9, The Doors. Papa Phil. And number 10, The Perfect Weapon. What do you think about our top 10 list here?
It's a competitive week, for sure. I remember seeing Silence of the Lambs at an early age and was just impressed with the storytelling and the horror elements of it. New Jack City, I also saw it at an early age and probably wouldn't recommend for many children under the age of 20. But Home Alone just slugging away at week 19. And The Doors is another, shared love between me, you, and Papa Autry.
Definitely. Lot of really good movies in there. Now, let's take a look at the critic and audience response. Now, last time we did this, you were like, man, I wish you would let me do this first. Do you want to take a swing at the original as well?
I did the original already.
Okay.
In our archives. Let the audience listen to the original in the archives. We can talk about comparative between the two, and I want to get into that, but let's focus on the sequel here.
Okay, so take it away. How do you think the audience, how do you think the critics received the sequel?
Oh, they didn't receive it well. They did not. A movie like this, I think, and this is what I mentioned earlier, I think they didn't necessarily understand it, and it's not for them. It's not for the critics. This is not the kind of movie that is designed to win some sort of like illustrious award. Let's just call it like it is. Again, it's like going to McDonald's. You can get a quarter pounder with cheese. You can be very satisfied with it, but it's not going to win any like Michelin awards. I say the critics pooped on it at the rate of 38%. And I think that there was not many redeeming factors in their reviews.
Okay.
And I think I'm giving some credit to the critics at that number.
Drum roll, please. Here we go. 35%. Pretty darn good guess right there.
Yeah.
67% from the audience. Pretty solid as well. So now going back to the original was only a 40%, shockingly.
Huh.
And I would have thought that would have gotten some high praise because it is dark and gritty and like the violence is way heavier. So yeah, very shocked to see that the numbers, pretty much the same.
I mean, again, it's audience, go listen to our full review in the archive to get some more intel on the first movie if you've never seen it, if you haven't seen it in a while, because it is very stark in contrast to the trailer that we just watched. I don't remember it being that low. I'm glad that I veered away because I had a number in mind that for this number two, that I thought it would be, and obviously I was pretty damn close, but I would have guessed the audience for Turtles 2 to be lower.
Okay.
67 is a little higher given the fact that it didn't recoup much of its the original's stardom. So I probably would have guessed them closer to like 54. But
That's
man,
fair.
that's good. That's interesting. I can't wait to watch this movie.
Yeah, me too. And let's hear from a couple of the critics here. So Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune gave the movie 1 out of 4 stars and says, I don't think my negative reaction is a case of a parent forgetting the sort of mindless entertainment that he himself enjoyed as a child. Rather, the turtle fights are more depressing than joyful. I don't know.
That's a funny review.
It's funny, but I don't know that they're depressing. I don't really agree with that too much, but
I'm with you. I don't agree with it, but it's funny as hell.
All right, let's hear from somebody that actually did like the movie here. Let's go with Dave Kerr. So Dave Kerr of the exact same paper did like the movie. 3 out of 4 stars. One finds in them the same unabashed enjoyment of color and movement, of spectacular athletics and outrageous stunts that animates the Hong Kong action cinema as a whole and makes it so superbly entertaining. Dave gets it.
I think Dave gets it. Yeah, I like Dave.
Good man. I know Ebert crapped on it too here. Yeah, 1 out of 4 stars from Ebert as well. I won't read that one, but not a whole lot of positive ones in here. But if you think those are bad, wait till we get to number 3.
Oh boy, will we ever get to number 3?
Oh yeah, next year for sure. We have to do number 3.
Hey, I'm down, and I will have nothing but love to say and to share for number 3, even though I probably haven't seen it since childhood. So, ooh.
That'll be interesting. Well, what are you looking forward to most when we dive into the full episode here in a couple days with our buddy Wes?
Yes, audience, if you watched our Shooting the Manure episode, Wes will be our guest of honor for the full episode. So very excited anytime that we get to hook up with Wes. So that'll be a great conversation. But just the all-out action, the ooze, the enemies, the villains, Shredder, just everything about this movie is just going to make me want to just plug in my NES and play a little Turtles video game action.
100%. Now, are you the original or you like the Part 2 arcade game?
I think both bring a different flavor to the entertainment value that they deliver. Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan of the arcade game. We played that together, didn't we? Or was that The Simpsons?
No, we played arcade game together.
Okay,
yeah, good. That's my game, man.
Good, I love it, and you can replicate it because it's the same platform that the X-Men arcade game was, and the same that the Simpsons arcade game was. It's just a side-scrolling bash 'em up, but the NES one, that game is difficult.
Yeah, the original, I never got into it. I mean, I definitely know how to play it. I can sit there and probably get through first 3 or 4 levels, no problem still, but not like the arcade game.
No,
it's so different.
It is a different experience for sure. So, audience, if you've played the original NES game, have you made it past the underwater level? Because I never have, as a child or an adult.
No, I don't think I have either. It's a difficult one. So, but yeah, one thing I am looking forward to talking about during the episode with you guys is why you think going with 2 completely different creations, Toka and Razor, instead of Bebop and Rocksteady was the way to go. If you guys agree with it, if you would have preferred to see those guys in Part 2 instead of this creation, which I do have some notes from the director and the writer on why they did it, and it's not very satisfying of an answer.
Yeah.
So I do want to definitely dive into some of that stuff. And the recasting of April O'Neil, the recasting of Corey Feldman's voice. I mean, there's a lot of different parts here.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yep, we'll get into all of that here, and that episode will drop. The full episode will be on here for you guys to listen to, and we'll be recording that in a couple days, so look for that at the end of the week. In the meantime, thank you for checking this out. If you haven't already, if you've made it to this point in the video, make sure you drop a comment below. Let us know what you want us to cover in the future, and make sure you hit that subscribe button for us. And if you're listening on the regular podcast platforms, make sure you're dropping us that 5-star review. Help us get our name out there. And we'll be back in a couple days. And then right after that, it'll be a quick turnaround with February being a short month. And we'll be shooting some manure on March pretty quickly here. So,
yeah, the manure is going to come flying out. I know we've already talked about some plans for March. I hope we're able to execute on those ideas. But we'll manure. So thank you all for checking it, downloading, subscribing, doing all the stuff that Kyle plugs away. And Kyle, why don't you end us on a funny note?
I made another funny. No, that's terrible. JD has crabs. See ya.
In the beard.